to you by Shawn Porter Promotions.
All right, everybody. Without further ado, welcome to the PorterWay Podcast. We got Shawn Zittel on the air with us. We got Ant with two T's on the air with us, and we got an exceptional young man who just came off of a big knockout win 2 weekends ago now. Welcome to the PorterWay Podcast for the first time, certainly not the last. Angelo, welcome, big dog.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure being on here.
Big dog, big punch at the end of the fight. I've seen quite a few interviews since that fight. But talking to Shawn that he was pretty close to the camp in some regards. But just kind of take us through that last moment in that fight. It seemed like a build-up process, but we never really know how broken down somebody is until it happens. Did you realize he was as broken down as he was, and kind of just take us through that moment?
Not at all. I didn't realize how broken down he was. I knew he was. I knew I was slowing him down with the body shots, and I knew with my activity he was slowing down. But I was never expecting a knockout shot like that in the 10th round, especially that shot specifically because I had thrown harder left hooks in the previous rounds. But they didn't really connect like that one did. That one was right on the money.
Yeah, buddy. Go ahead, y'all.
You hit him with two hard right hands in the 9th round. And I know, again, you already said you didn't expect that coming, but did you think you softened him up? You weakened him, maybe even in that round just before with some of those right hands.
Yeah, I think so. I think that right hand was a game changer in the fight, especially in the 9th and in the 2nd round, I believe. I heard him pretty good. So, yeah, I could see why I could see him softening up and the reason why he went down the way he did.
Well, while we're touching on Vianello right now, of course, I'm sure you heard he's still suffering from some injuries from the fight. Anything you want to shout out to Vianello and thoughts on that? Because I imagine obviously you always want to win the fight, even win it by knockout, but never want to hurt another man beyond the boxing ring.
Yeah, my thoughts and prayers go out to Vianello and his family. We all know what we signed up for, but at the same time, it's a dangerous sport. This is how we put food. This is how we put food on our table, on our family's table. And I wish nothing but the best for Vianello, and I hope for a speedy recovery.
Was that one of those shots? Once you threw it, you knew when you landed. You probably not.
No. Yeah, no, it wasn't actually. It was, I think the referee had separated us. I stepped in with the left hook. Didn't think he was going to hit him right on the chin, but it did, and he went down. And I was pretty surprised myself. If you guys see the tape, you can see the look on my face. I was like, and I was in shock.
I'm big on. I tell Shawn and both Shawns, when you take one loss in your career's not over. Look at you, perfect example, man. How rewarding does it feel to be the IBF champion now after a setback 3 years ago?
Oh, it's so rewarding. It's one of the best feelings that I've had. Just to know that I bounced back and I hushed a lot of the critics and the doubters. And that first loss that I had, was pretty devastating for me and my team. But I had a chip on my shoulder after that, and I proved to everyone that look, you could bounce back from a loss. A loss don't mean nothing. It doesn't define you or anything like that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shawn.
Angelo, I feel like give me your thoughts on this. I feel like in some ways you're a spirit fighter, and what I mean by that is you got good fundamentals, you got good skills, but a lot of fighters win fights off their skills. And you did as well. I mean, that was a big reason you knocked out Vianello, but it feels like this fight, Tremaine Williams, certain fights in your career, your spirit's kind of on fire and it makes you fight, I don't know, 10, 20%, a little bit even beyond what you normally can. And I heard you tell Tim Bradley, the key to maintaining what you just did is staying even keeled, not getting too high, not getting too low. But at the same time, it seems like for certain fights, you could pull out a little something extra just with your heart on fire, your spirit on fire. What do you think about that? And how do you maintain, like you were talking about, with Tim, and yet still summon that extra for when the fight calls for it?
Yeah. I think I do wear my heart on my sleeve. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. It really, it's something within. A lot of boxers can relate to it, but you want to win. It's just that drive, that motivation to win. And I think it took me to winning a world title, and it took me to winning this world title as well. But what was the other question you asked?
Yeah, no, it's kind of deep, the concept of getting that, which is, it's like, it seems like it's not something you can maybe even necessarily summon up for every single fight, And so how do you do that even keeled where you're staying consistent performance, but let's say an Inoue fight comes, let's say a unification comes. How do you then drum up that little bit of extra fire for the big assignments?
I think you just gotta be locked into winning, winning and putting your all, and constantly have it in your mind that this boxing career it's a short window and a short opportunity. So my mentality going into it now, as I'm getting a little older, is I gotta put my all into it. This 5 years, 6 years. I'm not too sure when I want to retire yet, but I'm 30 years old, so I want to put my best, and I'm put my best foot forward and give it my all. So with that being said, I'm gonna do whatever it takes, and I can't let my foot off the gas with the voluntaries, or if it's not a big fight, if it's just like a stay busy fight or a defense like that. I've seen it too many times already, where fighters, they get complacent with the voluntaries, or they get complacent with just they don't know who the fighter is, and then boom, they lose. So I'm not trying to go down that road, and I'm trying to put on great performances. Especially if I have another fight in my hometown. I want to give the fans, I want to give everyone a great showing, with also getting the W as well.
Let's lighten this up a little bit, because Shawn, you just turned this into a quiz. You asked the question. I was like, I'm over here scratching my head like, I don't know the answer to that. I wouldn't know how to answer for myself. Turn it into a quiz. Hey yo, and then I applaud you, because when you came with your answer, I was like, yeah, that's what you do. You keep your mind on winning.
Go ahead, sir.
Hey yo, I got a couple things. You just mentioned fighting at home in New Mexico. Kind of talk to us a little bit about being from down there and kind of representing that whole region in boxing.
Yeah. Like everyone knows, Albuquerque is a big fight town with the MMA and with the boxing. But it's not a big town, so we really hold on to the fighters we do got, and we take pride in who they are. And as you guys may know, it's Johnny Tapia and Danny Romero, and then you got Holly Holmes and all them too. And it's not a big town or a small town, so we really gravitate to our fighters, and we're proud of them. Also Albuquerque, it's a beautiful city, but it's got its parts. It's one of like the most dangerous cities or something like that in the U.S. So it's growing up, it wasn't always the easiest, and so I think that helped me develop tough skin and made me a fighter who I am today.
Do they treat you like a superstar coming home with this big win? Did they welcome you, or was it just like nobody knew what you did as you're driving down the street?
After the fight, I had a lot of interviews. I met with the mayor.
Yeah.
All that good stuff on the Channel 13 News. A lot of people were asking for interviews and stuff like that. So it felt good, and I was getting recognized at restaurants, and they're like, you're the kid that just fought on TV, and
hey,
the whole restaurant would stop and take pictures of me. The chefs and all that came out from the back.
Hey, if they give you the key to the city, don't lose it.
Okay, I got you.
Hey, Angelo, who's the king of the city right now? You or John Jones?
Oh, man. I think I gotta be. I'm gonna say it's me because I'm born and raised. John Jones. He's a great fighter and all that, but he's from New York. I'm born and raised.
I hold no problems with either one of y'all.
Yeah. No, but shout out to John Jones, man. He's a hell of a fighter.
Yeah.
Yo, Angelo, looking at your career, and I really want your perspective of this after your loss to Fulton. You actually fought once more that year, but then you went a whole year without fighting.
Yeah.
Was that what was the reason for you not getting back in the ring for a whole year?
It was actually 2 years.
Oh.
And I think
oh no, that is 2 years.
Yeah. A lot of it had to do with promotional issues. Mayweather Promotions wasn't really keeping me active. And time kind of just passed me by. Time passed by. I didn't get the fight. I wasn't fighting. I was just like waiting. And, I finally got released from the contract. And then it took a while for us to, find a promoter and all that. That took a few months. And that burned off some time as well.
Yeah.
Also, I had the birth of my son. So I was preoccupied with all that. But once I got signed to Pro Box, they kept me busy. They kept me real busy. Got 3 fights in 5 months, and then pretty much made up for some lost time that happened.
At that point in time, I saw that there was an interview that you did talking about possibly leaving boxing. Was it at that point in time when you were in that space of having to wait, not knowing what was going on, where you were thinking about ultimately leaving boxing?
I love the sport of boxing. It's my passion and all that, so I don't think I would have left it, but I definitely would have had to put it on the back burner.
Yeah. Define the back burner for me. Like in your mind at that point in time, where you were.
Yeah. I think still training, still staying in the gym, but focusing on maybe going to school for something else.
Yeah. Amazing job you did on Fight Night a couple weekends ago. Zittel, you got anything else? Ant, you got anything else?
What were you going to be studying for?
I think real estate.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw real estate.
Yeah, I think I would, and I think I still want to do that after boxing, or do that right now. Because real estate is something. It's a good investment. It's always there. So I think a lot of boxers should do real estate.
You can never make enough money.
Yeah.
Angelo, what would you give people advice? A lot of boxers, after they take their first loss, they feel like the world's over. And seeing that how it is. Promotional companies drop you after one loss. Some people. What advice would you give boxers?
I think that just to keep in mind that a loss doesn't define you. You could always bounce back. Everyone makes mistakes in their career. We're all human, but as long as you have that mentality of winning and never giving up, you'll be all right.
Yeah. I always tell people, look at Shawn Porter. Ryo was a perfect example. You're a perfect example. It's like, just keep going. You can still be a superstar in this sport, still be a champion. Yeah, that's my biggest thing. Yeah, because you're gonna take losses in life. So that's
exactly.
Yeah.
And one more quiz question before he gets out of here. No, the big life-changing money big fight out there is obviously Inoue, who will probably inevitably move up to your weight. I know you're a guy who loves boxing history. You've watched a lot of the old classic fights. Do you feel like you could kind of play Juan Manuel Marquez to his Manny Pacquiao in terms of holding up to that overwhelming speed and power and kind of do like Marquez did and use your skills and composure to offset what he does? What do you think of that matchup?
I think it's a great matchup, and I do kind of feel that way. I think in a way, Manny Pacquiao is more of a reaction fighter. In a way, does counter. He waits for his opportunities. So I think it would be a good little chess match in the beginning, but down the road, we're gonna have to get down to the nitty gritty.
I know the fight with Inoue and Fulton was a minute ago, but I'm sure you watched that fight. What did you think about the fight when you watched it?
That fight, I thought Inoue did his thing. I thought Fulton, he went in there with giving him a little too much respect. But I think Inoue just had an answer for everything that Fulton threw or Fulton did. And I think Fulton couldn't cope with the speed and the power of Inoue.
It seemed like the winner between you and Fulton was inevitably gonna fight Inoue. When you watched that fight, did you ever look at it like, come on, man? Like, did you feel you wish it was you in the ring? Did you feel like you would have done other things that would have made the fight obviously much better and more competitive?
Yeah, I think so. I think if I would have fought Inoue, I was thinking now again. We've been like me and my team. We've always been like keeping an eye out for Inoue because we knew one day we would fight him. So seeing that fight, I was like, damn, he could have done this, he could have done that.
I talked to the TV. Did you talk? Were you yelling at the TV at all? Like, come on, man, what are you doing?
No, not that fight. I think it was early in the morning, so I was ready to go to bed.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think we all good here, huh?
Yeah, we got it.
And started with it, so we gonna end with it. Do you know what's next? Do you know what do you want next? What do you want next?
From what I heard, we talked with the promotions, and then I think we have something for the beginning of the year. Not too sure who it is or what it is, but stay tuned. It'll be at the beginning of the year.
And one more thing, shout out to ProBox because they got you back going. Talk to us about the ProBox TV experience, how things was working with them, being able to fight on that network.
It's a pleasure working with ProBox. Like I said, they when we first hit them up, they told us that they would keep me active, and so far they kept their word. I got 3 fights in 5 months. I feel like a throwback fighter with that, and then they got me this opportunity with Vianello, and they've been really keeping the word. So I'm happy with that. Gary Jonas showed up to my fight, so I really appreciate that. It's a really nice gesture of him. So shout out to ProBox.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to ProBox. Congratulations on your big win. And Zittel is saying it might be it's in the candidate for a knockout of the year. So
yeah, of course.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, good luck, my man. Keep your head down, stay focused, and stay even killed, man. We see you later.
All right. Thank you, Shawn. Thank you for having me.
Thank y'all.
A blessed day, bro.
Angelo. Congrats, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
So he thanked me by name. What about y'all? Did he thank y'all by name?
Whatever, man.
Talking to
whatever, Angelo knows.
He
wasn't talking to you. He was talking to. He said with an E-A-N.
Yeah, you could tell by the way he pronounced it, Shawn.
Very possible that he was talking to you.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he was talking to me.
No. Why you always think somebody talking to you?
Hey, let's get into it. Hey, real quick, Zittel, you ended up at was that the actual game that you were at?
Yeah, Raiders preseason game against the Cowboys last night. Yeah.
Was that the last season game? Was that the last preseason game?
They play the 49ers next Friday.
Okay. So we got 3 preseason games now.
Yep.
Okay. How was it? How was the energy? I got you.
That time you could tell he was talking to SHAWN. You could tell by the way Hafey said it. No, it was interesting because the Raiders have like this diehard fan base, but at the same time, all the visiting teams' fans fill up the Allegiant Stadium too because everybody wants a reason to go to Vegas and catch their team in Vegas. So it's usually pretty split, Allegiant Stadium, and whoever's winning gets the louder audience. So when the Raiders scored, they got some pop, but when the Cowboys scored, it felt like you were in Dallas. So Yeah, energy was good. Everything came down to the quarterback competition, and neither guy separated themselves. Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. Not exactly Steve Young, Joe Montana, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees quarterback competition, but they're both trying to get that job. So
yeah. What about Dak? Dak get on the field?
No, he was warming up, not in street clothes before the game. But what's interesting is there's been a little bit of talk about if he doesn't get extended by the Cowboys with the Raiders, take a look at Dak Prescott. So, that's about. Raiders have a really good defense, and all the questions are at quarterback. They even got some weapons: Devontae, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, the underrated receiver. Trey Tucker is got like 4.4, 4.3 speed, burning down the field, stretching, but you got to have a quarterback to make all those.
Who's the running back?
So, yeah.
Who's the running back, Shawn?
Zamir White from Georgia.
Yeah, I remember Zamir. A monster at Georgia.
No, he's good. He had a good run last night, and then they got him out of the game quickly. So,
that's a good sign. But yeah, got to figure out a quarterback. I thought we would draft a quarterback this year, but who am I?
Okay. And what about you, Ant? You couldn't come over for UFC 305.
Yeah,
what
man,
you had going on?
I've been doing a lot, and then I'm doing a lot. Worked all week. Then Mr. Gorman had their first game Friday. Hey, Shawn, we got a quarterback problem. Shout out to our guy. I thought he was the guy. I don't want to say too much because he's a kid. Yeah, but I'm 33-7, but.
Hey, listen, I just thought, I was like, dang, like we sparred and I ain't seen him since.
Oh, no. I recovered. Took me about 2 days. So I can imagine how long it took you.
It took you 2 days?
Yeah, it took 2 days. Took 2 days, buddy. How long it took you, Zittel?
I was good. It just felt good to have my upper lip and nose feeling fleshy and hit on again. Just we got to rub it a lot, and that felt good.
Yo, my back was hurting.
Where's our spring, our sparring take? I want to talk about that.
I don't know if we got it on here. I don't know if we'll have it on here today, but do we need to get together and analyze that?
I'm about to say, don't get together and do it again. No, I'm done. I'm retired. We might have
to, that might be a once a year type thing.
You know what? No, I am done. You know when I knew I was done? When somebody said throw a counter, and I said I ain't got no counter. I said I'm never doing this again. I tell you what, it gives you a different respect for the game, because I also could see how you could get in a rhythm in the fight, Shawn, and like we fighting at 8, and this motherfucker turns it up. It's a different thing, and I could imagine if you went to, like, you were probably like at 6 or 7 on me and Shawn. If you really went to 10, it'd have been hard finding you.
No.
It was on 3 or 4.
It's not hard.
2 or 3.
You were at 3.
No. I wasn't in the 3. I was maybe 5 or 6, maybe.
Yeah. Zittel, come on, Zittel.
And I might have been 3 or 4 with Zittel the first round.
Hey, you hit me with some shit. You hit me with some shit one time.
Because you came at me. I was like, yo. I said, okay, let's go.
I think you're supposed to do me like that. We've been doing for like 10 years.
If you had dropped me, what would you have done if you had dropped me?
I would have picked you. I wouldn't let you go there. I would have helped you. Well, let's go.
He said he'd have clocked me and then caught me like
that. I can't have this on camera.
Yo, you came out in the first round. I was like, yo, this dude, he getting something off his chest, like for real. I appreciated it. Hey, matter of fact, Ant, you good from now on. You ain't got to get back in the ring.
No, I'm good. I respect you. I ain't got nothing to say about sport.
You represented yourself well, Zittel. You need to step up and do more next time.
Oh, it's like that.
It's like that. So next time we do a sweepstakes, you'll be getting back in the ring.
I'm
you
done.
represent yourself well enough.
Hey, Zittel was getting some shit off. I ain't gonna lie. He looked clean. Hey,
every time he touched me, he said, "My bad."
I didn't want to wake it up, man. Like I had flashbacks to that Sugar Ray Leonard sparring. The dude just hit him with one jab, and then he pissed Ray Leonard off, and Ray Leonard let the beast out. So anytime I touched, I was like, "We good? We good? You're not."
I wasn't gonna go crazy. It's all for fun.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't gonna kill us. You know, a lot of people DM me was loving you with my ass. I was like, chill out. Like, yeah, what you guys say now? You bet you won't say nothing no more. I'm like, all right.
He said, no, I'm still talking about stuff.
But no, I tell the people all the time, you know, I want to see you in there with next is Naeem. Who else? Oh, I'm going to Miami. We still gotta get Nori in there with you. I want to see some people in there with you.
Yeah.
Because you'll look at it different, completely.
Yeah.
Different. All you need is 2 rounds.
Yeah, we did Charlemagne a couple years ago.
Hey, Shawn, he brings it up all the time. He's
Does
like,
he?
I was in there with Shawn Porter. They're like, really? You was?
Oh wow.
Like, yeah.
I haven't seen this stuff in a while, but yeah, man, maybe we should make some of that. Start, getting in the ring with some of the, you guys that really appreciate the sport and so they could feel it and stuff. Naeem got to be next though.
Yeah, it got to be our guy Naeem.
Yeah, got to be next.
I was just trash, Shawn. You gonna do me like that? I thought I did a couple things in there.
What? Listen, I ain't gonna say nothing. You just know you gotta get back in the ring with me, and you gotta do more. You gotta do more.
I felt like he hit you with a solid uppercut one time, so I ain't gonna lie.
No, he hit me with some stuff, but I felt a lot of apprehension coming from him. I ain't feel no apprehension. You came out in the first round, you threw it all, and then the second round I was like, all right, let me get through this.
Yeah, me too. Well,
I appreciated that.
I play football. My thing is I better go get him or he gonna come get me. So
Zittel had more in the tank.
Zittel has a heart. That's his problem. His heart is too big. I was telling my lady, I'm like, his heart is just too big.
I'm gonna knock his heart out his chest.
All right, you gonna wake the beast up then.
You come at me soft on the next one. I'm gonna knock your heart out your chest. How about that?
Oh man.
Yo, let's get to the boxing real quick. Couple things happened on ESPN last night.
Yeah.
Shout out to the kid Mason, Abdullah Mason. Like the dude is all the way legit.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with somebody just the other day, and I'm seeing him do this. And somebody said, yo, eventually he might end up like this. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's crazy.
and I'll go ahead and say it. Well, let's talk about it. They said because of their dad. I respect you. You never left your dad, but I think you would have been better if you had moved on past your dad before you brought in Barry. And it was like, when you brought in Barry, we really saw a change in your fighting style and how you came to the ring. I said, you know what? To be honest with you, my dad has always been super aggressive. That's his mentality. That's who he is as a person. So that's what he gave me. And that's what we use to fight and to win. We used aggression. I said, but when Barry came in and Barry added this like tactical approach to it, he kind of like connected me back to football. I had never seen somebody come to the gym with a pad and go through like some notes. And it was like, when I saw it, I was like, it reminded me of football. And it kind of like let me know, like, you can't run on everybody. You can't pass on everybody. You can't stop and go on everybody. You got to use everything. And it kind of like he opened my mind to those things. But when it comes to Abdullah Mason, I look at somebody like Terrence Crawford and Bomac. He's been with Bomac the entirety of his career. Bomac has grown as a coach. He's grown as a fighter. And together, they've continued to do this. And I really didn't agree with him saying what he said. However, I did have to look at it. If this kid does like start to plateau, what will that look like? I don't see it happening. What about y'all?
Yeah, it'd be tough for me to see it happening. And one thing about a dad's son, Shawn, I definitely agree bringing somebody else in for an extra set of eyes. Because as a parent, we get to a point where we just stop listening to our dad. Like, man, you've been saying this since I was 6 years old. So sometimes
point too.
Yeah, you need fresh ears, but at the same time, your father know how far he can push you. Your father know when you got more. Your father knows different things about you that nobody else will ever get out of you. And I remember I told you one time, I'm like, bro, don't ever leave your dad. Like this is y'all got the perfect combination. So bringing in a fresh set of eyes, yes. But at the same time, I definitely agree keeping your dad in the corner at all times.
Thanks for saying that, because that was his point too. He was like, at some point that voice gets kind of stale and you don't want to listen to it. And again, I've been saying this for a long time. One of the life lessons that my dad taught me is that boxing is just like life. And here we are. It could be your coach, it could be your dad, it don't matter. But if you're hearing that same voice all the time, it might be good to get something new in, new set of eyes, new voice, something like that to kind of shake things up.
Abdullah Mason plateauing. I don't see it. I don't know. The person has eyes that I've never seen in the sport of boxing. He got eyes different because I don't. What I'm seeing from Abdullah Mason right now is just vector going up.
Yeah. I misrepresented him, so I'm glad I didn't say his name, but I did misrepresent him. He said he could plateau because of
the
not having that another voice and things of that.
Gotcha.
I think he is the best prospect in boxing right now. I think he's the most sure thing out of anybody around that age group in the prospect stages. I think he's the one you could place your chips on, and you're going to be all right. You're going to be good. One of the ways I could see him plateauing, and I don't see it happening, is although inevitably there's going to be a night, even with the brightest of prospects, the best of talents, where you look a little ordinary. Like everyone's due for that at some point. Like Floyd with Castillo, even Floyd in that era period against guys like Carlos Hernandez and Chavez, he was still racking up the wins. But they gave him some resistance, right? Mm-hmm. And then he went back to just shutouts and stoppages. I think one way he could plateau is the kid's got such a full arsenal and tool set. He could fall in love with a couple of tools too much and not bring out everything. And maybe a couple fights could wind up being harder than they need to if, for example, he starts falling in love with knockouts and doesn't use his length and his jab, in addition to the heavy artillery and all that. Other than that, and then we talked about it on the show before, he's got a great family dynamic. This is not some family trying to ride the coattails of a breadwinner or something like that. All his brothers box and are good fighters, and the dad is extremely humble. They're all about their faith. And I think if there was ever a situation where Abdullah's father, recognized they needed a Barry Hunter, they needed an outside voice, I don't think he's not the type that strikes me as having too big an ego to cross that bridge if it's what's best for his son. So
I see that too. All that being said, hope to have him on the podcast next week, and we can kind of get into some of that with him. But another big knockout win for him, and just continuing. He's definitely the best prospect we have. And this is when you said that, Zittel, this is what came to my mind. We had Boots Ennis, and then I think there's this space, and then it's Mason, Abdullah. I don't think that there was Boots Ennis and then this prospect, this guy that matched this level. I think that Mason at this point in his career being a prospect, he matches the level of a Boots Ennis, not quite mature and physically mature and all those things, but I feel like he matches that same level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some guys with power can be a little rough around the edges, developing the skill set, and then vice versa. Some guys with a deep bag of a skill set don't necessarily have the power, and he's kind of showing us everything right now. And what'd you guys think of? I remember in my little, in my apprehensive, hesitant boxing career in the amateurs, Coach Pat Barry would always say, you got to flow from one shot to the other when you're putting combinations together. And I thought he did that beautifully. Straight left hand to the body, tightens up. He knows the distance just cut, tightens up right hook, and then a little pull to get a little more power, and bang, left uppercut, knockout or knockdown in that first round. What'd you guys think of that?
We got a lot of guys that can flow like that too. But 100%, the way we work on it on the bag, we want it to look as seamless in the ring, and it's not. It just don't look that. It's not the same. The bag doesn't hit back. The bag may swing a different way. You know what I mean? When you got the opponent, you throw the first punch and it landed, and you take that small step, but he steps the opposite way. Now you gotta make up that distance and then catch it and all these other things. I mean, just it's smooth, you know what I mean? And I think that that's why he's really catching our attention, is because not only is he fast, dynamic, strong, but he's super, super smooth with it as well.
Man, I want to take it back a couple of weeks. What was this at the Terrence Crawford undercard fight? Man, we seen the Vargas get into it with Keyshawn Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Man, how do y'all see that fight going? I'm going to go with the real Shawn. I'm going with the real Zittel, okay? How do you see that fight going down the road, Zittel? Because I was like, that could be interesting. That's two different styles. I wonder if one guy got more of in his bag than the other. Zittel, you probably know what I'm talking about. How do you see that fight going? Because I was like, this is something I actually want to see down the road. These two guys get into it.
Well, two different junctures of their career. Keyshawn's basically is a grown man right now in his mid-20s. I don't know if Emiliano's even 20 yet. So they're on two different.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, they're just on two different timelines. But I do kind of happy you asked, because there is a scouting report I have on Emiliano a little bit. And it's that this kid is so talented, so fast. Actually, Emiliano Vargas is so fast with his hand speed. When I watched him and Abdullah fight back-to-back at T-Mobile last year on the Shakur de los Santos undercard, yes, I came away saying Abdullah's a better prospect, even though I like Emiliano too. But I said Emiliano might have more raw, pure speed than Abdullah. And here's the one issue with me with Emiliano, and I think he's super talented, super marketable, is I notice in the years of me studying him in the gyms, when he gets touched, all of a sudden he lets go of all his tricks, all his bag, and he'll start once the other guy starts landing, he'll start to go back to a more fundamental, basic style, and I don't think that serves him well. I think it's easier said than done, but just because the other guy starts touching you doesn't mean you got to pick the gloves up now and get away from all the different things you're capable of. And so, I think Emiliano, the way you can matchmake a fighter in the 4-belt era, he's going to cruise to an undefeated record, and Top Rank's going to get him to a title. But if he can't get more comfortable with resistance when other guys start landing on him and still explore all his options offensively and all that, then he's putting a cap on his talent, because he's very talented.
Yeah, because down the road, we got some good fights at 135?
Yeah.
Abdullah Mason. What we got? We still got Frank Martin in there. We got
some amazing fights.
Yeah, Kid Austin. So yeah, it could be fun. It's down the road. Boxing's still in good hands.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not at 147 because ever since Shawn Porter retired. I say that all the
time. What's his name?
Emiliano?
No. The fight from last night.
Guido. The two heavyweights.
Yeah. Vianello. Excuse me. Vianello and what's his name?
Arslanbek Makhmudov.
Makhmudov.
Yep.
Yo. So listen.
Oh man.
Y'all know me, man. I've been raving about Olympic. I've been raving about having amateur pedigree and an amateur experience for a long time. Both these guys have amateur experience. Mm-hmm. But Vianello, Guido, I'm gonna just call him Guido. Guido was an Olympian, and when he turned pro with Top Rank, I believe, and he was supposed to be, a guy at this point in his game, and he lost the fight early on, and then his career just kind of had been kind of dry. I really want to say stale, but just kind of dry, kind of like, okay, he fought, he won, okay, never really gave us anything to really say, wow, he's becoming that guy. But in the last year and a half, this dude is really starting to make me think yo, you might actually get yourself into a position where we just look at you yo, you grew late. You know what I mean? You just kind of grew in this thing a little later than everyone expected you to. But the fight he fought last night, from a standpoint of fundamentals and the standpoint of game plan, was fabulous. I seen in the first round that he came out knowing that the uppercut was there and threw it and landed it quite a few times throughout the fight. Bust Makhmudov's eye up, and I'm at the point where I'm saying, yo, this fight needs to be stopped. What are they doing? But y'all give me what you got, man. I'm high on Vianello right now. I'm high on Guido right now.
I'm gonna let you go. I got one thing.
No, go.
Very entertaining fight for a heavyweight.
Yeah, man.
I was like, this is the guys look like they're at 154 or something. Very entertaining fight. Take it away, Zittel.
Well, to Ant's point that Ant always loves to make, he's showing how bad he wants this because he hasn't let 2 losses take his spirit away. You know, he continues to work on his craft and get better. And if he's a late bloomer, it is because he's a late starter to boxing. I think he told me when he first went pro, I believe he was a tennis player. And it might have been soccer. You know, they love soccer in Italy. But I believe he was a tennis player. So he's an athlete. Like,
it was tennis.
It was tennis, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so he kind of still fights like an athlete as opposed to a well-groomed boxer, but he's accumulating that. He's learning on the job. And I got to give credit to Guido because, you know, again, like Ant says, he hasn't let a loss break him. And he's just been fighting, like we talked about with Kenny Sims and Charles Conwell last week, Shawn. He's fighting with urgency. He's fighting to show the audience, show the promoters, I want this. I want to be in the mix of the heavyweight division. I'm giving it my all. There's definitely still things he could technically shore up. Haven't started late. He's still fighting on his athleticism a little bit. Kind of, Shawn, is he still doing what guys do in the amateurs a little bit, where he's on his bounce, he's getting shots off, and he's not really catching what's coming back. He's kind of relying on his athleticism to get in and out.
And it even from that standpoint, it seems to me like there's been some growth in the last year, even from that standpoint, where the bounce is a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little more
agile.
He's more professional to that point, and precise. He's more precise with his movement. He's more precise with his in and out game, his offense. What I mean, mentally precise, knowing what he wants to do, not fighting with hesitancy, not fighting unsure of himself. And even the fight that he had with a Jogba, I thought he won the fight, and they talked so much about whoever wins this fight is going to keep going, and whoever loses is going to go in the background. And I knew he had this fight coming, and it didn't. And when I saw it coming, I was like, cool, okay, he's getting back in the ring, but it wasn't until I saw him on TV where I realized, like, Top Rank gave him another shot. Top Rank didn't just say, you know, you lost that fight, you knew the deal. Like, they gave him another shot, and he made the best of it. You know what I mean? So, you know, y'all know me, man. I'm always rooting for the underdog. So that's kind of where my feelings are at this point. It's like, yo, you know, they counted him out, and he started to make his climb back, and then, you know, they say, hey, it's this or nothing, and it became nothing for him, and then they found another opportunity, and he made the best of it, capitalized on it.
Shawn, could you then tell Guido, come on, try and say it with me. Say, Guido, molto bene, bellissimo, bellissimo, molto bene, molto bene. Want to give it a shot?
I don't know what none of that means, and I don't want to disrespect nobody.
It means he did really good, and it was beautiful. Bellissimo, molto bene, very good. Like muy bien, you know?
Shoot, I thought I heard something about a mushroom when I heard Multibello. I thought I heard something about a mushroom.
We're not talking about Super Mario, Shawn. We're talking about Guido. You understand?
Well, listen, Guido did his thing on to, I got to do this, man. It's unreal to see these referees like not be responsible the way that they should be responsible. And then even the doctor last night, the fight went, I feel like 2 or 3 more rounds than it should have gone because of how close that eye was. Hey y'all, this is a true story. I'm watching the fight. I've never had my eye like that. So while I'm watching the fight, I went like this. I said, I don't think I can fight like this. When you can't see, this is a big deal.
Oh, scratch that. Stop. I've seen you spar with a headband over your eyes. You can fight like that.
You ain't seen me spar with the headband. You see me do some stuff with my dad.
Okay, all right. Shout out to Kenny Porter. That's the Kenny Porter shit right there. Okay? I know. That's somebody that would do it. It's you.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it, Shawn. I saw Toro Gotti knock out Wilson Rodriguez with one eye. He did it. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I'm just saying, what were they expecting? This is a different weight class. The dude wasn't throwing no punches, and at no point did he look like he might land that big punch. Respect to him and respect to his team, but I felt like the team should have stopped it when the team wasn't stepping in. I felt like the referee should have done his job. There was one point where he had gotten knocked back, and the referee was nowhere to be seen. He got knocked. I think he got knocked down. and the ref didn't even call the knockdown. It's like, what are we watching? What are we doing? How are you that close to this fight? You don't see a knockdown, and on top of that, you're nowhere in the picture to even create be in position to create a way to stop this. You know what I mean? It was messy, and the main event was messy too, in some regards. You know, shout out to you guys got anything else? I'm interested in seeing what Guido does moving forward. So I think he's, we got Guido, and I know Dubois and Anthony Joshua are fighting soon. But those three guys, I think, in heavyweight division, like they've shown, like what Ant been saying for a long time, one loss don't mean nothing, two losses don't mean nothing. Keep going, keep trying to make it, and if you don't give up, you'll make it. I mean, Guido's a fine example of that.
Especially in the heavyweight division, ask Buster Douglas.
Yeah.
So, and I was just kidding about the one eye thing. It was just an excuse to keep doing the Brooklyn Italian.
He said just an excuse. The main event.
Hey, quick question. How y'all like this? Guido, December versus Jared Anderson. Oh, so I see word eyes. I see word eyes. I see business eyes. I tell with the business eyes.
That's
Did you say business eyes?
Yeah, business eyes. He's like, I see money.
You got me conflicted here. Like, the American heavyweight versus the Italian heavyweight is my heart is in two places at once. May the best man win. No.
Okay. Shawn, you seem like you don't like that as a comeback fight for Jared.
Simply because, in some ways, I feel like Guido has fought himself into a better position. But
then to be fed to Anderson,
because you're still kind of feeding him, guys. You know what I mean? Like, especially with coming back, like you really got to feed him somebody to kind of get his feet wet. The whole thing. See if he's still comfortable in the ring and all that. And I've seen that before. Guys are extremely comfortable sparring, but then when they get in the ring on fight night, it's like, throw your punches. You were doing so much more in training, So it's a road for him, and I don't think that road starts with Guido. On top of that, I feel like Guido has fought himself into a better position.
So let Jared get a comeback fight or two, and then that could be his. What do we really got now on this comeback trail? Let's test him with Guido, and
let's keep it real. Maybe in two fights, he'll be in a position to take on Guido, and Guido will be in a position that be like that fight could be for a title eliminator or something along those lines.
Yeah. This setback cost Jared Anderson possible Fury fight, Usyk and Joshua, because he's just gonna miss that moment. Those guys, maybe another 2 years, they're out of here.
I think it's the fight with Usyk and then he's done.
Yeah.
I always say I hate retiring guys, but I just don't see. There's not much. Shawn said it. What else does he need to do?
Yeah.
I talked about it the other day. Like 3 fights with Deontay Wilder, that's a lifetime right there, man. That's a lifetime. 3 fights with that's a lifetime. And then he took on Usyk. We saw how that one worked out. I don't think that Jared Anderson was on a timeline to get in the ring with those guys anyway.
Okay.
But on top of that, those guys are I don't know about Anthony Joshua, maybe another 2 years. I don't know, but I feel like Tyson Fury, we know he's going to be done by next year, and also Alexander Usyk as well.
Yeah.
Putting himself, like Shawn said, putting himself in a line of possibly losing. If he doesn't lose, possibly taking some unwarranted damage. The list kind of goes on. We know he's slick. We know he's fast and all those kinds of things. But as time goes, time is undefeated,
Especially in the heavyweight division. No one makes it out alive without getting scathed, except so.
Yeah. And Mbilli and Derevyanchenko.
Shout out to Derevyanchenko. I think he's one time was he ranked in 154, 160, 168, or he just fights everybody? What is it? What is it, Zittel?
Where'd you find that stat at?
Because I felt like he fought at 154.
Right.
I didn't even know he was 168 last night until Zittel told me early.
Yeah.
I know he was at 160. My man fights everybody, and He's going to go the rounds. It's going to go the distance. He's going to give you a tough out. It's kind of is. I just wish he would be on the opposite side of one of these wins, man, at this point. Every time, even if it's close, he loses. He just can't.
I'm tripping, Ed. He's always been a middleweight. I thought because his height, he may have fought some early career fights at 154, but no, he was always a 60-pounder. But a short guy at 160.
Yeah,
and just a tough night out for anybody. But like I said, I told Shawn, I want to one day I want to see this dude get a victory over somebody with a big name.
I got a kid down in Texas who is in the same position as Derevyanchenko. And I texted him the other day. He asked me to watch his fight. I watched just a little bit of his fight, but he's on like a 3-fight lose streak or something along those lines. And I told him yesterday or the day before, I said, man, no matchmaker is gonna match you to win. Promoters, managers, nobody's gonna match you to win. I'm sorry. It's just where you're at. You're a really good boxer. But you're beatable. And so people know that you're going to give their fighters rounds, but ultimately you're not going to put their fighter in danger and upset anybody. And he said, so what should I do? And I didn't respond to the question, because what I really wanted to tell him, if you love this game, just spar and train guys. If you really love this game, just spar and train guys. Nobody's going to match you and put you in a match where you're gonna win, or put you in a match, an evenly matched fight, and pay you. No, that ain't what this game is built to be, And I feel the same thing for Sergey. I think that it's time for him to just, if you love this game and you love getting in the ring, spar from time to time, enjoy that aspect, and train people and enjoy that aspect of it, because nobody's gonna put you in the ring to win. And it's crappy because somebody like him, you put him in a true 50-50 fight and he comes out on top every single time because he's that good. But they ain't putting him in the ring with nobody to win. And I feel like on top of that, they grabbed him and put him in the ring for Mbilli because they thought Mbilli was going to be the first one to stop him.
Yep. That's exactly what last night was supposed to be all about. And I think it was even questionable that it was a 10-round fight. I feel like they actually did that to benefit Mbilli. And it may have even backfired on them, because Mbilli might have got what they were looking for with another 2 rounds going into the 12th. There's some issues for Mbilli. One issue he doesn't have is he's very television friendly. He is super
game. He ready.
He's throwing heat, and he had great body work last night. And he's definitely a good offensive fighter on the inside. But I think the best scenarios for Mbilli is he could be in fight of the year type fights. I don't think he's necessarily a champion material, barring a weak title holder, so to say, but he one thing that's an issue for him is, I saw Derevyanchenko in April on the Haney Garcia undercard in Brooklyn. He didn't look that great, and he didn't do a lot of his inside mid-range work where he gets his best offense done. He was boxing a lot, which reminded me of what Andre Ward used to always say, which is usually the adjustment for fighters as they age is boxing more, because you don't want to get hit as much. You're not as willing to take that punishment in range. So, and it kind of helped Derevyanchenko weather the storm early and have some moments in the middle of the fight. I think he hurt Mbilli in the 7th round. Mbilli weathered that, hurt him by the end of the round. But the issue for Mbilli is you got power, but you're not hitting like that. Because if you were hitting like that, you hit Derevyanchenko, a middleweight who's 38, had seen his best days, and you still couldn't get him out of there, still couldn't drop him. And that's with killing him to the body. Landing all the shots you need to land to break him down. And there was times Derevyanchenko looked like he thought about wilting, or his body thought about wilting, but shout out to the veteran. He wouldn't allow that to happen. It was like, I didn't let Golovkin stop me. I didn't let Charlo stop me. I'm not going to let you stop me. And and based on what I saw, again, Mbilli could be in some fight of the year contenders if you match him with the right fighters. But I don't think he beats Jaime Munguia. I think Munguia is better than him. I think Munguia has a better jab, and he could fight at more ranges. He could work combinations on the outside and on the inside. I think he's got better conditioning than Mbilli. And, Mbilli can be found defensively. But, I don't want to dump on Mbilli. He's definitely fun and good for the division, good for boxing. I don't think he presents any issues whatsoever for Canelo. I think that could look like the James Kirkland fight. Maybe a little more competitive because he's bigger and bringing more thump than James Kirkland, but he's kind of tailor-made for Canelo, even with Canelo getting older.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I feel the same way. He's not in that upper echelon of fighters right there, 168, or just in terms of being a champion in general. He fits the bill, and he's on paper becoming that guy, but stylistically, you got somebody with a good jab that's strong, and he's gonna have some issues. Stylistically, he got somebody that can take a punch like Derevyanchenko and can return something a little bit harder. You're right there in the line. You're right there squared up, as Tim said before the fight started. Fight's very square, which makes you a complete target. And I think that he's gonna have some problems trying to get a world championship title. They might be able to, fish and find one for him, especially right now at 168 with the way that it kind of is. But yeah, if we talking about Canelo, that's number one, a fight that don't nobody want to see right now, but also a fight that we see a lot of holes in his game, and we not gonna really like the fact of Canelo getting in the ring with him. Who would win between Canelo? I'm sorry. Who would win between Mbilli and the kid that Canelo's getting in the ring with?
Berlanga.
Berlanga. Excuse me. Who would win between Berlanga and Mbilli?
Mbilli.
I think Mbilli has shown us a little more toughness than Berlanga, and I think Berlanga has more firepower than Mbilli. That's like maybe the fight of the year type right matchmaking for Mbilli that I'm talking about. I think Mbilli, he showed us something last night that he kind of shot his load early, as he's one to do, and he withstood it. He had composure. He took the veteran coming back at him, hitting him with his best, and then found his second wind. That was probably the most important thing for Mbilli in this fight. He found that I can get a second win and get back on like I do the early rounds. So that fight comes down to Berlanga's kind of superior power, and maybe he's a little bit better boxer too, versus Mbilli maybe being a little bit more of a dog than Edgar. So that'd be a great fight.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I would say Demetrius Andrade got a better shot getting Canelo next than Mbilli.
Damn.
At this point, I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know. Canelo's liking his very winnable fights right now, and that is his WBC. No, he might say, "Give me that, give me that." Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't think Demetrius? It's a good name on resume. Demetrius older now. You're not the young Demetrius anymore. I still will pull for my guy, but that'll be a tough night out for Demetrius.
Well, he's not really in line to fight for that fight anyway.
But Canelo just
true.
He does what he wants.
I see Canelo fighting Mbilli.
Yeah. Oh, can you?
I can too.
I can't see him fighting.
I can too.
Cause I'm like, who you fighting? Who?
You'll be like, he's my mandatory. What you want me to do?
At least Demetrius has a name behind him. This guy is just like, this guy don't even look tough, and I don't want no problems. Don't punch me in the face.
Hey, yo, let's move on real quick. Hey, so I ended up ordering UFC 305. I want to say shout out to DraftKings. This is my first time intentionally watching the UFC.
Trader.
And yo, it was a good fight. It was fun to watch. And I just wanted to real quick give a shout out to Adesanya and also Du Plessis, man. I know you guys didn't watch it, so we're not gonna break it down. Maybe
I was trying to watch it. I watched the first round, and Trevor Hudson calls me.
He submitted Adesanya, right?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah. I was pulling for Izzy. You know, we met him once upon a time ago, and he was good people and everything. But They call him DDP. Or D. I think DDP.
DDP.
He
Diamond Dallas Page. Yep. Bang.
Yeah. Du Plessis. He my man held his own. Obviously being a champion.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to shout it out real quick. And y'all should have seen me in here, man. There was a couple points where I was like, yo, I can't believe they allowed to do some of this stuff that they doing. But now it was a good time. Shout out to UFC 305. And I might be interested in UFC 306.
Okay. We're trying to pull up or something?
We might have to pull up at some point.
All right.
I'll holler at Dana. I'll holler at Dana. I want to look ahead real quick because
Shawn, let's bring Zittel. Just because he don't want to go.
How you know he don't want to go?
Yes, I know. His loyalty is to boxing.
Yeah.
It is. Look, man, I'm salty with Dana White. I remember back in the mid 2000s when he's very smart businessman. Can't take nothing away from him, but he promoted UFC at boxing's expense, called our sport the dying, antiquated. Might be some truth to that, but I'm gonna ride with what I ride with. But he would talk about boxing's dying out, boxing's an antiquated form. This is a more evolved form of fighting and all that. Doing what he's supposed to do to get his product over. I was a kid at the time. I took it personal, and that little 13-year-old in me still is like, I'll never take that side. But at the same time, those guys are so much better than when I was a teenager. Back then, when it was Chuck Liddell and Rampage Jackson, and you had these guys who hit hard but didn't have a lot of speed, snap, skills with their stand-up. Now it's a whole different ball game. These guys are athletic, fast. They can box. And so their sport has evolved leaps and bounds. I just love boxing. I'm just loyal to what I do,
Yeah. I like to see what Adesanya could do in the boxing ring. He switched stands a lot, threw a lot of feints. Carries his front hand really low and out as well. So he's primed for an up jab. I'm curious to see what he could do in the boxing ring. But overall I actually enjoyed watching this. Like I said, man, my first time intentionally watching MMA, UFC, and I was pleasantly surprised. And shout out to DDP. That dude can fight. That dude can literally fight. Hey, move forward real quick. ProBox TV.
Man.
Wednesday night fights. They got Jared Hurd and Jason Rosario getting in the ring. Now, Zittel, to your point of what you said just a little bit ago about guys. Oh, I think you said Andre said when guys get a little bit older, they tend to want to fight on the back foot a little bit more and be more boxers than that brawl, go get them kind of fight style. Jared Hurd said he's been working on some things. He's been out of the ring, in and out of the ring in the last year, mostly out. But he said he's been working on some things, got his own gym now. So, but I just thought to myself, if you've really been working on some things, what's this fight gonna look like? Because he's always been that train coming at you, and you older now, and you know what it takes to get there, and all those kinds of things. I'm not sure we're gonna get a train. What you think, Zittel?
Well, we did see those adjustments in past fights. Him trying. Well, he always did his version of a shoulder roll on the front foot, but you've seen him doing it more, holding his ground, not cutting the gap. It's tough. It's a tough ask when you've walked through a lot of bombs in your career, and we're asking you, hey, can you do that again? Because that's what you're best at.
Yeah.
Punch resistance does leave you after a while, but his punch resistance, even in his recent fights, is still a lot better than Jason Rosario's. He got stopped, Jared Hurd, but it was with cuts in his mouth. Rosario's been, knocked out a few times.
By the tummy.
Right. Well, I'll never forget that. Charlo's jab to the stomach. That's one of the craziest knockouts we've seen in recent times. But I don't know. I tend to favor Hurd because, I think Rosario is actually a little more athletic offensively. He can punch at range a little bit more. Jarrett's got to cut that gap, get on top of you, pound you into submission. Rosario's got some nice offensive skills at further range than Jared Hurd operates at. So he should be able to touch Jarrett up early, but the problem with Rosario throughout his career has been his punch resistance. So I'll give the edge to Jarrett. And they both at once upon a time, not for a long time, but once upon a time were the kings of this division. Well, they're probably fighting at middleweight now, but
160.
So at 54, they were both at one point unified kingpins. So it's a good fight on Pro Box. I'll be watching that.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
that's super entertaining. I know he won a lot of the fights being against Tony Harrison, Lara, just being right on top of you. Yeah, taking a lot, and it's just a lot of pressure. But kind of like Zittel say, how much can his body take still? Because his punch resistance is out of this world. And it's just, he's a big dude at, even at 160 now?
Yep.
He's still a big dude. My man is a big guy when it comes fight night.
Even at 168, he'd be pretty big at 168.
Yeah, so shout out to Jason Rosario. You go out the box that night. You can't fight this fight. You fight this fight, you lose the fight. You might get stopped. Be honest.
Yeah.
Whoever dictates the pace wins the fight.
Yeah.
Rosario got to make his shots count early against that leaky defense.
Mm-hmm.
Not just touch him up and take some rounds, but make them count. Dent Jarrett Hurd early. Take some stuffing out of him so that inevitably when Jarrett tries to box early and that's not going great and he decides to try to mow you down, maybe you've taken some air out of those tires if you're Rosario. This should be a good fight. You
know what that take, though, Zittel? That take heart. You got to come to the ring believing in yourself, believing that you can touch him and hurt him early, because that has to be the game plan. You know, I feel like another thing that fighters don't do that they should do is game plan. Keith Thurman was notorious for telling us how he game planned the entire fight based on rounds with me, but coaches, fighters out there, start game planning based on rounds and sections in the fight, not just this is what we're gonna do for the fight. It's like this is what we're gonna do, and then at round 4 we're gonna add this and take away that and so on and so forth. I think that really good game planning in it for Jason Rosario, and the number one thing should be firing early and often in the fight. But good game planning could get him through this thing without getting clocked. But I think Jarrett gonna come out trying to box, Zittel, like you said, and then a couple rounds all right, let me step to this guy. And at that point, Jason's just gotta be ready. But I got Jarrett Hurd winning this too.
Yeah, I think that hurt.
I feel like the punch resistance is just extremely low for Jason Rosario.
Was Chris supposed to be on the card or what? That fell through.
Who's that? Chris who?
Kobe Hop.
Oh, no, he's on a different card.
Oh, okay.
He's fighting in Philly. So next weekend in Philly. This weekend in Philly.
Oh, was that that's with Gillian Wallow.
Is it?
I think they're like hosting something. Yeah, I kind of see something.
Okay,
so we got a lot of fights going on this week. Then we got Floyd versus Gotti. Come on, Zittel.
Yeah, I feel like this must have been what the 80s and 70s felt like. Like we're talking about multiple Italians on one boxing podcast. This must have been like what it was like when Vito Antuofermo and Nino Benavuti and Ray Mancini and those guys were fighting. But John Gotti's not that. Don't get mad at me, John and John Sr. I'm from New York too, Bensonhurst. But yeah, I think Floyd, they actually lived in my neighborhood, Ant.
Hey man, don't tell me nothing. I don't want to know nothing. Okay. Shout out to Shawn. Don't say Ant in that with Shawn.
Ant with 2 T's also lives in Vegas with me. No, I'm just kidding. Why is this happening? I know money, right? Money, but why?
For a third time too, right?
No. No, I think he's John Gotti the third. This is a rematch.
This is the second fight then.
Yeah. Yes. The last one ended crazy, right?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Saw that part.
I want to shout out to one of my boys. He's like, hey, Shawn, and Mayweather's fighting Arturo Gotti's son. I said, I didn't think about it like that, but I like the way he went. I said, no, bro, he's fighting John Gotti. He's like, the mob dude? I'm like, yeah, man, it's a long story.
Yeah, what's Floyd's beef with Gotti's? Arturo Gatti, John Gotti the third. It's like he takes pleasure in this kind of thing.
He know how to make money. That's the bottom line. He know how to make money.
In Mexico City, they both got their entourages. I think this ends the same.
The exact same, right?
Yeah.
And going out on a limb, he picks Mayweather over John Gotti III.
Oh, no. I'm talking about a brawl at the end. I ain't talking about I don't care about the win. I don't even care about the win. That was crazy, man.
I'll give my hot take. I have Mayweather winning.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Hey, shout out to Mayweather. If he's still making money, man, go ahead and do your thing, bro.
Yeah, buddy. We getting out of here.
What a high note.
Not really the highest. Not really the highest.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of something, nice to say to everyone before we get out of here. I got nothing today. Y'all got something for me?
Oh man, hey, congratulations, Hall of Fame, man. Hey, my man got a Hall of Fame, they got another Hall of Fame. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
But how many Hall of Fames you in?
I'm about to go. So just to catch everybody up, I'm being inducted into the Summit County Sports Hall of Fame back home. Summit County is Akron. So basically the Akron Hall of Fame. I'm going in with and shout out to these guys too. Antonio Winfield, notorious for being a cornerback over there with Minnesota. And he might have finished up somewhere else before he got out of the league, but he played for a long time, Ohio State alum. His son is in the league right now with the Buccaneers, I believe. He might have moved.
Antoine Winfield Jr. Yeah, he's like one of the best safeties in the NFL.
Yeah. And so his dad was a corner when he came to the league, and then transferred to being a safety. I'm trying to think of the other guy's name. Jason Taylor, DN.
Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, DN
2006 Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Miami Dolphins.
Playing against us alumni on Saturday. Well, that's when we going to South Florida.
Are you headed to Miami?
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah. Are you coming to
Oh wow. Okay. No, I ain't going. I'm actually headed to Australia. So
wait, was I tell where you going? Disneyland. He's a great dad.
No. I'm gonna play video games this weekend. It's been long overdue. Been a lot of traveling and working, and I gotta get my priorities back in order. I gotta play some video games.
James Harrison, DN linebacker. Linebacker DN for the Steelers. Does he still have the record for the longest? Was that a fumble recovery or interception?
No, man. He picked off Kurt Warner and took it back 100 yards in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, crazy. And longest interception return for a touchdown in the NFL, and a couple others. But
that's a hell of a list.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a list, man. I
coming. You want to come?
I just told you I'm going. When is that?
No.
I can't leave because of why I can't leave.
But it's first week in October.
I can't leave that close.
Oh yeah.
Come on, man. I was good. Hey, shout. Hey, Zittel, you want to feel old? The team we playing in Florida this week, star player, wide receiver, is Julio Jones' son.
Nice, man. Julio was basically a perfect receiver. He was big, fast, ran every route, and had amazing hands. And so Julio Jones is an all-time great. So that's good.
I never got the expression perfect receiver. I've never even heard that.
I thought it was Randy Moss, to be honest with y'all.
Randy would go across the middle.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. Damn, okay, so I tell my
boy K was so strong.
I ain't had nothing about for
T.O. was better. Randy's amazing. Randy had that wow factor, unlike any receiver that ever played the game. But T.O. was a more complete receiver, and I think Fitzgerald was too.
Yeah. Fitzgerald too. All right, we out of here. Listen, in closing, like Ann said, I'm going into 2 Hall of Fames. I appreciate the accolades. I appreciate the honors and all those things. But I did an interview. Shout out to the Rise Up podcast. That's Aaliyah Orozco. We just did an interview. I'm gonna make sure that she tells me when that thing goes up and is live and everything, because it was an amazing interview. But the question that she asked me is, what do you want to be remembered for? And I said, everything that I've done, I just want to be remembered for helping people, for being a really good person, and always, extending good energy. Don't forget that people are watching you. And with that being said, life isn't about the money, life isn't about the accolades, life ain't about people cheering for you and patting you on the back. It's what they remember you for. So always give people something good to remember. This is the PorterWay.